Hello, this is John with Coins, RPGs, and more. And here we are with the next part in sorting presidential coins. Da, 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 da. We've got the microscope up and running. We've got our sorting boxes in front of us. A whole empty one that needs to get filled at some point. Let's go ahead, launch into it, pardon my finger again, and see if we can get another one of the modern presidents mixed in with this lot. That's what we want. So, James Madison, always a pleasure to see you, James. You're upside down. Let's turn you right side up. Whoop. Oh, Lady Liberty. John Adams. Oh, that's a nice condition, John Adams. That might be one for the book. We'll see. Zachary Tyler. Number 12. Number 12, Zachary Tyler. Happy to have you. John Adams. Always happy to see you, John Adams. Especially one in good condition. George Washington. Good gentleman. Let's see. Oh, there's John Tyler. Sans shotgun. I don't think he actually uses shotgun. I'm just making a bad joke. There we go. Let's get better. Number 10. Bam. I always like to make sure I can make out the numbers, even if I kind of know what it is already. Martin Van Buren. Looks like 8th. It's 8th. I was pretty sure those of you on big screens could see it, which is why I didn't show you the scope. I'm just blind. John Tyler, number 10. I make a lot of blind jokes. Hope it doesn't offend people. It's kind of my life. So I try to have fun with it when I can. And not take things too seriously. All right, George. Good to see you. James Buchanan. That's number 15. Cool. Only had 2 others of him. Now I got 3. Not bad, not bad. Got a lot of grants. I'm kind of tempted to keep those around afterwards, just for funsies. John Adams. A little bit of filigree on there, or whatever you want to call that. Rutherford B. Hayes. Number 19. Hey, Mr. Jefferson. It's George. George of Washington. Hayes. There we go. That's a much nicer, easier to read than 19. So, I like to study the period of the Revolutionary War, or the American War for Independence, depending on which side of the pond you are on and whether or not you're really studying it. And one of the things that I study about it is how the battles were fought, but also how the politics kind of worked out. So that's why some of this stuff really gets interesting for me. George Washington is an interesting character. He's incredibly, his combination of skill and luck, which is what you want in a leader. They have enough skill to get them through the times when their luck runs out. All right, Andrew Johnson. I can't quite. Oh, the 17th, of course. High brain. But the other part of it was the British commanders. Everyone likes to talk about the British didn't send their best, or they didn't support them, and whatnot. Part of that's kind of true, but the other part of it is the British were fighting a completely different campaign. I'll try to explain that. See, the Americans were fighting, or the colonials were fighting for their independence, or just plain old their survival when it came to some of them. That's a cause they truly believed in. The British, they were fighting to maintain the colony. But according to what I've been reading online, or not online, but I've got some books on Audible that I've been listening to, and I've been reading a few books myself. You know, oh my gosh, who reads paper? I read paper. I love paper. Do not take my paper books away. But anyway, it's interesting that the British more or less thought of themselves as fighting something more akin to it was a rebellion, yes, but in the beginning they were told it's almost like their job was to police what was going on, to stop it from getting worse. So you could equate it with a policing action. And that's an interesting mindset to have. Because if you think, because the way you fight a war, 11th, is a lot different from the way you fight a policing action. There is a quote I read from a British commander. Hey, I found another Roosevelt. Always happy to see another Roosevelt. The big difference between, well, anyway, the quote I was talking about is the British soldiers or the British officers felt that it was their job to try to win the hearts and minds of the colonials. I'm not saying all of them were trying to do this, but some of them were. That was the idea. That was their hope. To win the colonies back, yes, they had to use force, but once they finished using force, they really just wanted to go back to a peaceful life. And so in the beginning, it was different. And from their mindset, I'm not saying they were good guys. They weren't. They were just guys doing what they thought was best at the time. And they lost. But it's just interesting to think about. There's so much mythology built up around our Revolutionary War. Sometimes it's a little difficult to cut through the myth to try to figure out what really happened. Man, that is not easy to see. Take a look, even under the microscope. 12th, barely legible. You've been through the ringer. James Buchanan, number 15. Gotta speed this up. I need to tell fewer stories. James K. Polk. Ay, ay, ay. Some of you can see that. I can't. '11th. One of these days I'll memorize it again. Andrew Jackson. 7th. There's a lot of people with a lot of reasons to not like Andrew Jackson. Problem is, you dig far enough, and there's always going to be reasons to not like somebody. I'm not saying that in defense of Andrew Jackson. I just find it funny. Andrew Johnson. Andrew Johnson. Oops. 17. Another Garfield. James Monroe. Franklin Pierce. Come on. It's like 14th. Let's grab another 14th to find out. Yep. Hey, Grover Cleveland. '24th. That's the first one for that bin. That's the find for today. I was going to have it be a second Roosevelt, but a Grover Cleveland. I am happy with that. Franklin Pierce, that's a good quality. It's like a 14th. Yep, there we go. Easily read, always nice. James Buchanan, 15th. James Madison. And the last one for this set is another Polk. You think I'd have it memorized by now? I do not, but that's 11th, so there it goes. Thank you everyone for hanging out. Another set done. We're getting to the bottom. We're filling out the bins. Not a bad way to do this thing. Thank you very much for paying attention. Hope you all have a wonderful day. Peace be with you, always.